Hello everyone, a warm welcome to the final draw of the 2025-26 UEFA Europa League season as we prepare to plot the pathway from the round of 16 all the way to the final in Istanbul. While 8 teams were already securely into the last 16 thanks to their league phase performances, 8 more had to battle their way through the playoffs, which culminated this week with a series of nail-biting ties. Among the highlights, Panathinaikos were taken all the way to penalties before emerging victorious against Victoria Pilsen, while there were comebacks for Lille, who turned their tie around with an impressive 2-0 away win at Crvena Zvezda, and also for Ferencvaros, who recovered from a narrow first-leg deficit to advance past Ludogorets. Elsewhere, Genk were pushed all the way, but eventually recovered to battle their way through in extra time against Dinamo. So the next step for all of the successful teams in the playoffs is to find out which side of the bracket they'll be on, with just 3 more ties separating them from a place in the final on the 23rd of May. So how about we take a closer look at the 16 remaining contenders. So that is the exciting lineup we've got for you. Some great action there. More to come very soon. Before we get started, it's time to invite on stage the man presiding over today's draw, and that is, of course, UEFA Deputy General Secretary Giorgio Marchetti. Welcome, Giorgio.
Thanks, Pedro. Good afternoon to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. So the journey so far in the UEFA Europa League has been nothing short of thrilling, with every team fighting bravely to keep their dreams of glory alive. Over the last couple of weeks, we have lived almost every possible emotion, from the heartbreak of shootout defeat to the elation of comeback victories and the relief of surviving a dangerous scare, which are the exact characteristics that make any competition special. Now, 16 contenders remain from across 10 different national associations, a wonderful mix of established forces and ambitious newcomers, all united in their desire to reach the final and lift one of European football's most iconic trophies. Good luck to everybody involved. The finish line is in sight, but you know, there is still a long way to go, and as we know very well in this competition, nothing is impossible. To help us with today's draw is a former Portugal international who knows what it takes to go all the way in European competitions. Let's see who it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Manish. Welcome. Bem-vindo.
Bem-vindo.
Great Portuguese from Georgia as well. Talking about Portuguese, we've got two Portuguese teams in the draw today. One of them, obviously, you played for, Futebol Clube do Porto. I wanted to ask you about how it was lifting that heavy trophy, right, in 2003. How important was that for you and the club?
Winner UEFA Cup 2003 was very important for me. It was a pleasure. The title for Futebol Clube do Porto. I think it was, I remember, because it was a strong winning mentality.
Yeah.
It was the star. It was the star of something great. It creates a strong winning mentality.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously you won the UEFA Cup that season, the Champions League the season after that, right? So that group of players was very special, with a very special manager as well. Of course, Porto qualified directly to this knockout round. What are their chances to go all the way to the final, maybe win the competition, and maybe who are the big rivals?
Yeah, Porto always wants to win. If you will, too easy, because there are strong teams. But I believe Porto reach win to final in Istanbul.
Yeah?
Maybe.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see. All of the teams here are thinking the same, Manish. We're nearly ready to commence the draw, but before we do, let me remind you that the round of 16 match calendar will be available later tonight. Please also note that in accordance with the principles set by the UEFA Club Competitions Committee for Stadium and City Clashes, Braga's home match in the round of 16 will be played on Wednesday, the 18th of March, kickoff at 16:30 Central European Time. The schedule for the quarterfinals and semifinals will in principle be communicated on the 20th of March after the completion, of course, of the round of 16. Now, to see how all the teams will be drawn in the remaining rounds, we have a short video explaining the technical procedure.
The fixtures for the round of 16 and onwards are determined using a seeded bracket system that already started at the knockout phase playoff round. In the round of 16 draw, the teams finishing the league phase in positions 1 to 8, who qualified directly to this round, will be drawn into the bracket against the winners of the knockout phase playoff matches. The draw will be conducted in accordance with the following principles. The teams directly qualified to the round of 16 are seeded and are paired according to their league phase rankings. So the teams in positions 1 and 2 are paired, teams in positions 3 and 4, and so on. The teams from each pairing are then drawn into one of the 2 pre-assigned positions in the bracket, one on the silver side, one on the orange side against the relevant winner of the corresponding knockout phase playoff match. In principle, the seeded clubs play the return leg matches at home. To determine the matches, 4 bowls are prepared for the draw, with the balls containing the names of each pair of the seeded teams placed in the corresponding marked bowls. Starting with the pairing of teams from positions 7 and 8 of the league phase, 1 ball is drawn to reveal the team. This first team drawn is allocated to the reserved spot on the silver side of the bracket. The other ball is then drawn and then allocated in the corresponding reserve spot on the orange side. The same procedure is carried out with the remaining teams to complete the pairings for the round of 16. From the quarterfinals through to the final, the ties as well as the order of the matches is determined also by the bracket. Therefore, having been positioned in the bracket by the draw of the knockout phase playoff and round of 16, the teams qualifying from the round of 16 follow the path of the bracket until the final, and, as in the previous rounds for the quarterfinals and semi-finals, the teams indicated, i.e. those in the bottom row of each match pairing, will play the second leg of the relevant tie at home. The finalist on the silver side of the bracket is designated as the nominal home team for the final. After the draw, if it becomes apparent that any ties are affected by city or stadium clashes, these clashes will be resolved in accordance with the principles set by the Club Competitions Committee for city and stadium clashes. The round of 16 match schedule will be available tonight.
Perfect. The video has provided you all the information you need to follow these draws, and as you can see, we are ready with the bowls containing the pairs of seeded teams in front of me. I remind you that for each pair, the first team drawn will occupy the relevant position on the silver side of the bracket, the left, and the second team drawn will join the opponent, which is waiting on the orange side. Now, before we begin, just a final reminder of the clubs which are going to be drawn. We start with the pair of the best 2 teams of the league phase, which were Olympique Lyonnais and Aston Villa, followed by positions 3 and 4, Midtjylland and Real Betis. Then we have the Portuguese pair of Porto and Braga, followed by Freiburg and Roma. And that's exactly with Freiburg and Roma in position 7 and 8. They will ask now Manish to kick off the draw. Please shuffle the 2 balls and we can begin the draw. Let's see which goes to the silver.
Freiburg.
That's SC Freiburg going to meet Henk on the silver side. Never Freiburg and Henk crossed paths in the past. And now we can go also with the second team of this pair. So after Freiburg, we know what's expecting us and all the fans.
Roma.
That's, of course, Roma, and Roma means playing Bologna, and Bologna-Roma is an Italian derby, which happens for the first time in European competition. So Bologna and Roma will play together in the next round of 16. We're ready, we can proceed. You please shuffle the balls containing the teams ranked 5 and 6. This time it's a Portuguese pair, with Porto and Braga waiting on which side of the bracket they will have to go. The first going silver.
Braga.
And the first one is Braga, which is going silver, and in silver they will find Ferencváros. So the finalists of 2011 will take on the Hungarian side of Ferencváros. Please draw also the second ball.
Porto.
which is, of course, FC Porto. And as you said, Manish, that the Porto will go all the way to the final. They will have to try themselves with Stuttgart. In the round of 16, we will have a taste, an immediate taste of the chances of Porto. Now, we have done 50% of our pairings. We can continue with the positions 3 and 4. Here, please. Midtjylland and Real Betis to be drawn against Panathinaikos or Nottingham Forest.
Betis.
And the first one is Real Betis, the UEFA Conference League finalists of last year. This time they will play Panathinaikos. Never Panathinaikos and Betis played in a European competition before this round.
Midtjylland.
And of course, Midtjylland will face Nottingham Forest. They played already this season, so it's not the first time for Nottingham Forest and Midtjylland. So only 2 teams left to be drawn, and here we are now going to see where the 2 top seeds of the league phase are going to play. It's Lyon and Aston Villa for Celta and Lille.
Olympique Lyon.
So Olympique Lyonnais will avoid a French tie because they will have to face Celta de Vigo in their next round. Also between Lyon and Celta de Vigo there have never been matches, so we see how many new opportunities we are creating with this knockout phase. And to finish,
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa will join Lille in what is now the last pairing of the round of 16. This concludes today's draw, and now that the bracket is complete and each team's potential opponents are known, we can follow the path of everyone all the way to the final. In each of the following rounds, as you know, the bottom team of the pairing will play the second leg at home. This is the rule. Pedro, we can sum it up.
Yeah, let's sum it up. And fantastic lineup we've got of matches for the next round. Let's have a look at them. Ferencváros taking on Braga. It's Panathinaikos versus Real Betis. Genk taking on Freiburg. And Celta facing Olympique Lyonnais. On the other side of the brackets, we've got Stuttgart taking on Futebol Clube do Porto. Nottingham Forest playing Midtjylland. Bologna clashing with Roma in an all-Italian tie. And Lille taking on Aston Villa. As Giorgio mentioned, the full UEFA Europa League bracket is now complete, so we can have a look all the way to the final for all teams remaining as they aim to reach Istanbul. Before we sign off, it's time to mark your calendars, of course. The first legs in the round of 16 will take place on the 12th of March, with the returns a week later on the 19th. That'll do it from us here at the House of European Football. Pleasure to have Manish here. Giorgio, well done as well, of course, as always. That'll do it. See you again very soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well done. Obrigado.